Hi everyone, my name is Destiny. I'm the Director of Logistics for the Greek Prayer Advocate program this semester. I just wanted to make a video to kind of explain what we did at our meeting on Wednesday night for those of you who couldn't attend or for those of you who kind of just need a recap of what we talked about. In this email, I'm going to include the PowerPoint from the presentation, so if you want to go ahead and open it and follow along with me. I'm not very tech savvy, so I didn't record my voiceover or anything, but if you could just follow along the slides, it'll make a lot more sense with what I'm going to say. So like I said, we had our meeting Wednesday night, February 1st, just to kind of get all the Greek Prayer advocates together. The objectives of this meeting were to review the Greek Prayer Advocate obligations, talk about what we have planned for spring 2017 this semester, and then what we're going to do for the trainings in fall of 2017 next semester. The biggest thing we wanted to hit on in this meeting was the participant agreement that everybody signs when they go through the program. And this is what we did on the very first day of the program, just to kind of describe what Greek Prayer Advocates is and talk about what your obligations are once you become a Greek Prayer Advocate, and then what you have to do after you're done with the training when you take stuff back to your chapter. So if you'll just follow along that list, I'm going to go through it and kind of just explain things a little more. So the first one says, I understand that I am required to make a good faith commitment to a minimum of 2 semesters of service. Those 2 semesters mean that your first semester, you go through the training and you complete the training, meaning that you went through all of the training sessions except for maybe one, which we usually have people make up. And then your second semester is taking that information back to your chapter and explaining what you've learned, or maybe coming up with new topics but that are similar and along the lines of what we talked about. Going along with that, number 2 says, I understand I will serve as a consultant to the Greek community and chapters in education, awareness, and advocacy for sexual assault prevention. So this is just saying that once you've done your semester of training, that you're going to go back to your own chapter and talk to them about what you've learned about sexual assault prevention and awareness. So you can run trainings. They're up to you guys once you go back to your own individual chapters. I know since I've been back to my chapter, we did one about bystander intervention and safe spaces in one, and then we did one on consent, and we showed a BuzzFeed video that they made about casual rape, and we're working on maybe coming up with one about slut shaming, and then we've also made a document about all the resources on campus and in Muncie if someone is to be sexually assaulted and whether they're confidential or not confidential. Going along with that, we catered this program to the Greek community specifically because the Greek community has higher statistics of sexual assault than other communities on college campuses, which is unfortunate, especially because the Greek community is supposed to better people as a whole and make them individuals that stand out among other people. So we really wanted to focus this on taking it back to our chapters and making it relate to Greek life and to the Greek community. So just keep that in mind when you go back to your own chapters. Don't make it super broad. Make sure you know your audience when you're talking. The third thing on the list says, I am responsible for carrying out the duties outlined in the position description and complying with the Greek Prayer Advocate policy and procedures. That is a reminder that you are doing your job by being a Greek Prayer Advocate. This means that you go through the trainings the one semester and then you take the information back to your own chapter for hopefully at least 2 trainings, but maybe 3 or 4 if your chapter has the time and the resources to do so. But you really should be talking to your own chapter at least twice once you've gone through the trainings. Number 4 says, I will not communicate any information regarding GPA participants to anyone other than the Office of Student Life staff, which is now the Office of Greek Life, so hey. But this is just saying that we are a confidential source, which is something we really need to have on campus because there aren't a lot of them. Additionally, we are not employed by the university or anything. We are just peers, which is why it's the Greek Peer Advocate Program. We are there to give resources to people who need them and guide them in the right direction if they want the information, and to do community outreach and prevention programs. This rule is just in place in case somebody in your chapter came to you and reported a sexual assault that happened, or maybe heard that like a brother or a sister had sexually assaulted someone. That's information that like needs to be kept between you and the person telling you. And then if you need to get maybe someone in the Office of Student Life involved, you can. But this isn't something that like you want to go and like be telling all of your friends or like all your sorority sisters, your fraternity brothers, for sure. Moving on to number 5 is just saying that like if you need to understand that if you do release this information, you will be removed from the program because we are a confidential source, and that's not something that we want to take lightly, especially with such a serious topic. Number 6 just talks about attending meetings. All of you should have completed the training and maybe had missed one, but then made it up. We want to make sure that people are serious about going through the program. Additionally, we want you to come to Greek Prayer Advocate meetings when we have them as a whole, like Wednesday night. Number 7 says, I will direct any concerns or questions that I have to the Office of Student Life, Office of Greek Life, or university officials. The questions also can be directed toward like the Greek Prayer Advocate executive team as well, although we aren't as knowledgeable as the Office of Greek Life staff. But if you do have something that's like too big for you to handle, please don't hesitate to reach out to them. They're resources for us when we need the resources, and they're trained a lot more intensively than we are to handle situations. Number 8 says, I acknowledge I am working with Ball State University staff, so while my training will be thorough, it will not be all-inclusive in such a way that I should be independently working with peers without consulting with an Office of Student Life or BSU staff member first. So going along with what I said previously, just make sure that like if you are handling something that might be too big for you or something that involves like another chapter, that you are reaching out. This program and training is an amazing thing, but it doesn't cover everything when it comes to sexual assault. So just make sure that you're willing to talk to somebody else if you need to. Number 9 says, I will follow through on all the assignments and responsibilities at minimum, which is the attendance of 7 training sessions. For those of you who did it in spring of 2016, it would have been 6 of the 7. Now we have 8 sessions, so it's at least 7 of the 8. And then attendance and facilitation of program at chapter meetings in the current and subsequent semester of training. So that's just another reminder that you need to be doing at least 2 training sessions, but hopefully 3 or 4 if your chapter can make the time for you to do them. Number 10 says, I will understand that my personal conduct reflects on my organization, community, and Office of Student Life, and I agree to conduct myself in an appropriate and respectful manner. This one is especially important since we're talking about such a serious topic of sexual assault, prevention, and violence. It's something that we shouldn't be joking about and we should be taking seriously. And we just need to conduct ourselves in a manner that represents that, but also our own individual chapters. We want to represent ourselves in the best way that we possibly can. Number 11 says, I will be conscientious, courteous, non-judgmental, and supportive to my peers, survivors, guests, and concerned others. Please, please, please know this one and understand how you interact with others and understand what victim blaming is and how to be a good support system. It's hard to be a support system for someone who's been sexually assaulted or someone who has been a victim of a crime, but it's not something that you need to joke about, and it's something that you really, really do need to be aware of how you interact with other people so you're not coming off standoffish and like you're coming off as like an open person that people can talk to. 12 says, any violation of the above guidelines may result in termination for the GPA program. And then 13 says, I agree to honor and abide by these guidelines. And then everyone should have signed this document and kept it in their Greek Prayer Advocate binder that they have. I know that's a lot, but we really do want to make this program the best that it can be and have people in it that are serious about it. So please just go over these again, make sure you understand what you need to be doing, make sure that you know that it's a minimum of 2 semesters commitment, that if you want to end after the 2 semesters you can, if you want to continue you can, but that you need to be going back to your own chapter and discussing the things that you learned. So moving on to the next slide, it's titled Spring of 2017. We have made the decision, the Office of Greek Life and the executive team, to not have any trainings this semester. We are taking the semester to kind of tweak the program and improve it before trainings in fall of 2017. This was just done because we got some kind of mixed reviews about the trainings, and we just want to kind of solidify what we want as a program and make sure that it's sustainable for the next 5 years, and make sure that like the trainings are good, who we have running the program is good, and just make the program the best that it can be. So in the meantime, for spring of 2017, we have to do some sort of training, even if it isn't to individuals who want to go through the 8-week training. So there's going to be 4 spring trainings offered to Greek Life specifically. These trainings are just going to be public. They're not mandatory for anyone in Greek Life to attend, but we're going to offer them to all of NPHC, PHC, and then IFC. And these 4 trainings have not been determined when it comes to topics, but they'll probably be the usual like big things that people need to know about, like consent and bystander intervention, and a couple other things. But we're thinking that we're going to do 1 or 2 of them in February, 1 or 2 of them in March, and then 1 in April, so we don't have anything happening like during finals week. And we're going to try to make them throughout the week, probably 1 on a Monday, 1 on a Tuesday, 1 on a Wednesday, and then 1 on a Thursday, just so we can have like a wide variety of people coming to it in case they have like night class or other obligations. So this is where you guys come in, because these community trainings that we're doing are not mandatory for anyone to do, but we are asking for volunteers to help out. So people from spring of 2016 and then fall of 2016 do not have to do any of these trainings. The people from fall of 2016 do have to go back to the chapters and do the 2 to 3 trainings with their own chapters, but these spring trainings aren't mandatory. We really, really do want people to help out, though. It's such a cool thing to be able to go and talk to, other sororities and fraternities about the stuff that like you guys learned in your trainings, and just kind of show off like what you know. So these 4 trainings are going to be run by committees. We're going to have as many people as they want to sign up for each training session. We'll probably pick topics and then have you pick the one that like you want to do. And you'll sign up and you'll hopefully have like a Google Doc or like a presentation or something where you and a group can work on it and kind of finalize your project, and then meet up and practice. And then there'll be the one day where you'll probably run like an hour to an hour and a half training session in the Greek community. So then for fall of 2017, we'll be doing the trainings again. We just want to take the semester to kind of reflect on the program and make it better before we do. When we do the trainings in fall of 2017, they'll be 8 weeks long and an hour and a half, which is a little different than when we first started the program, a little longer. But we discovered that having an hour for like a presentation and then a half an hour for discussion at the end of all of them was really good. Made it easier to kind of reflect on what people had learned and ask questions and make comments that maybe people were too afraid to share in front of a big group. We're going to keep the topics that we've had and hopefully add to them. And those are going to be consent, bystander intervention, the talk show, healthy relationships and domestic violence, safe spaces, how to respond to a survivor, current events, the legal side of sexual assault, etc. So this is kind of what we have planned for the time being. We really do want people to help out this semester if they can. But besides that, we just went over some questions, and then we're hoping to hear back from everyone. So thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope this helped a little bit, and I will see you guys soon.